Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu recently drew criticism for comparing the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, ISIS, to the terrorist group Hamas, saying they were a branch of the same tree. Despite claims to the contrary, Hamas and ISIS share radical interpretations of Islam. They believe they are conducting a holy war to subjugate or kill non-Muslims they consider infidels, murder Muslims they consider apostates, and spread their ideology around the world. Both groups, like the equally radical regime in Iran, its Lebanese proxy Hezbollah, and Egypt's Muslim Brotherhood, believe the entire Middle East is holy Islamic ground and that there is no place for Western values, Jews, or Israel. Although ISIS was criticized for declaring a caliphate, the other radicals were upset only because they considered the announcement premature and foresee themselves as rulers of a future caliphate. ISIS has gained infamy for its graphic executions of prisoners and hostages, but Hamas has done the same, often to its fellow Palestinians. During the summer of 2014, Hamas executed dozens of people they suspected of collaborating or spying for Israel. 7 were lined up behind a mosque with bags over their heads and shot in front of hundreds of people, including children. Hamas has also killed political enemies in a variety of gruesome ways, such as throwing them off buildings or dragging them behind motorcycles. Like ISIS, Hamas takes hostages. The most famous is Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit, who was held for more than 5 years before being released in exchange for hundreds of Palestinian terrorists. Like ISIS, Hamas imposes strict Islamic law on the people who live under their rule. Women's rights are restricted, un-Islamic books and music are banned, and persecution of religious minorities is commonplace. ISIS and Hamas have also enjoyed the patronage of Qatar, which has emerged as one of the leading sponsors of Middle East terror. Paradoxically, Qatar is considered a U.S. ally and is the site of an important U.S. military base. Much like Saudi Arabia, Qatar is given a pass despite its efforts to undermine U.S. values, interests, and security. Qatar's involvement in undermining Western interests has long been overlooked. Israel is on the front lines of this battle with extremists. Israelis have long recognized the threat radical Muslims pose to the security of their country and Jews targeted around the world, and tried to persuade the rest of the Western world that they are also in the crosshairs of these Islamists. Too often, however, Israel has been criticized for taking military action to protect its citizens, but the West has no compunction about going to war when its interests are threatened. Now, Western air forces are carrying out far more intensive military operations, killing civilians along with the terrorists, and the international community understands and applauds. They still do not understand, however, that Israel's fight is also their fight.